Okay, so there's a guy, there's two heads right now that are running all these attacks that you're seeing in a 360 organized crime group that are the cartels, Israeli army. They're all the attacks that you see by clowns in the Muslim world that are not Muslims, and they're doing attacks, driving cars into crowds. Okay, all of these attacks, right, are led by two guys. I know them both, right? They're called the elites. Now, one of them is 6'2". Okay, he's a monster. They're both incestuous gay men. All right, now his boyfriend is 6'4". All right, now he's attacking grievously those that are 6 foot, and he's killing everyone under 6 foot. Like my dad is a Dutch guy. He's actually Adolf Hitler's son, and he was about 6 foot, my dad, and he's getting grievously attacked by this guy who's 6'2" in the gay community. All right, now he is part of an old group that attacked Hitler back in Germany. All right, this 6'2" monster is killing he's the gay communities, and he killed all the Jews and then blamed Hitler because he was too not 6 foot. The people that killed the Jews in the Holocaust were over 6 foot. They're 6'2", and his boyfriend is 6'4". I know them both. They're both incestuous gays. They're called the elites. They've got all the money. They've stolen it off Holland. They're too slim, not 6 foot. Not over 6 foot. You've got to be over 6 foot. And then they won't attack you and kill you like the Israeli army are killing the Muslims right now. Like the cartels are attacking America and importing Muslims, immigrants into America, also into Europe and Britain. And Ireland has been very attacked by the 6'2" and 6'4" incestuous boyfriends running immigration, the stolen the hotels and the banks off the Dutch who own the banks. Actually, Adolf Hitler is Dutch. De Jong, he's Dutch. He is actually modelled on a patron saint, Saint Nicholas, who was a patron saint of children, much like a children's hospital is also run by Saint Nicholas, is also Father Christmas. That's also Hitler, Adolf Hitler from Holland. All right, so he wasn't 6'1", and therefore he lost the war in Germany. And they killed all the Jews and then blamed Hitler. Completely innocent, did nothing like that. He wouldn't kill anyone like that. He said Jews, but he's talking in code. He means Jumbo, you shot. Jumbo is the head of the militaries in Europe, England and America. And they were being attacked by the gay community, killing kids to attack the army. God knows why. The army's not attacking gays. The gays are led by these two 6'2", 6'4", absolute loons. I mean, they're psychologically and psychiatry, clinically very unwell. I mean, there's many films about them, and they're extremely nasty. They're bullying. All the women, for instance, are too slim. These two run pharmacy. Now everyone's fat. They're the elites. They run McDonald's. They're 6'2" and 6'4", calling you too slim. Look at those chips in McDonald's. Created by him. 6'4", and his incestuous boyfriend. And they're attacking the middle and working classes in England, and we need help. We're all getting killed. It can be not even called middle and working classes when you see their 6'2" and 6'4", and everyone else has to go. It's their monstrous attitude, and that's why everyone's homeless. They've stolen the banks. They've got trillions. They could put money into and we can invest into this country, make people with housing. There should be no homeless in that country that owns all the banks. 6'2" and 6'4" are killing this country, and we now need international help to close that down. From Sweden, America, Germany, Russia, China, all of the European countries. And we'll focus where these two are, England. Everybody hates them. Let's ask Tommy Robinson. Let's ask the victims' mothers of the Ian Huntley murders. What about the mothers of Jamie Bolger, killed by 6'2" and his incestuous boyfriend? They're attacking a guy called Jamie that we know. And Jamie's a really nice guy. I mean, he's very good looking. Everyone loved him. But he's too short. He's not short. He's about 5'11". He's not short. But they killed his mum, Tara. A hippie, a stunning woman. I'm being grievous. Okay, about Jake and his partner. Okay, he's there. Jake is 6'4", as I said before, and his partner is 6'2". They're both incestuous homosexuals, and they're attacking and killing everyone else. They own McDonald's, the schools, they organise Sandy Hook, the vile people. Okay, so Jake, who's 6'4", he's actually Colombian. Now, I've known him since I was 5. Okay, very unfortunate. That's correct. Okay, now, when I was younger, I also, my dad who adopted me, he's actually the King of France. He's the King of England too. His dad is called Jumbo, and he is named after an elephant, and he owns all the militaries in Europe. Okay, so he's the king of all the countries in Europe, especially France and England and more. Okay, so now he adopted me, and I went to Israel. Well, I had some Israeli friends in London. So since I was about 6, I've known Annabelle. She's a beautiful, stunning girl. She looks a bit like Bo Derek or Cindy Crawford, and Sharon Stone is actually playing Annabelle's part, my girlfriend and my wife. My girlfriend from when we were about 9, we're both about the same age. We started dating when we were about 9 and fell in love. She's an amazingly beautiful, wonderful girl. We're very close. Now, she's in the Israeli army. I've been to Israel, Tel Aviv, and to Israeli army camps, and I've sat with the soldiers, and they're my brothers. See, Annabelle is in the Israeli army. She and I are a couple. My dad is the King of France. And now, listen to me. When I was 13, I was in Israel. Now, when I was about 14, I got to meet Sylvia Lubinsky, and we moved in with her. And Sylvia Lubinsky is a Ashkenazi family that own the banks, the car companies, the hospitals, the properties, the hotels, and the Israeli army. Okay? Now there's more. We'll talk about that in a minute, and we'll talk about just about Israel. Sylvia Lubinsky is the head of the Israeli army. Okay, she's old lady now, and she's an adorable woman. I've known her all my life, and I love her dearly, and she loves me too. She adopted me. Sylvia Lubinsky, head of the Israeli army, adopted me, and she made me and her son, Phil, the head of the Israeli army. Fact, we were 14. All right, so we're called the Double G. Okay, so it's Phil Grosso, Phil G, and I'm the next G, the Double G. We were adopted. I'm adopted by Sylvia Lubinsky, owns the banks, and the Israeli army. Okay, so what happened is there's a crude group around, a crude group. Okay, they're 6'2", 6'4", leaning over us. All right, they want to steal our money. All right, so they've stolen our money and they're inside the Israeli army somehow because they're related and God knows why they're there, but they're there. And they've gone and stolen everything off us because we're not 6 foot. Phil is about 5 foot, I don't know, 5'10". I'm 5'10". All right, we've had our bank stolen off us. Sylvia Lubinsky is 5'10". All right, she's had a bank stolen off her by a rogue group, a crude group. All right, so they come in, they're homosexual, incestuous people. They're actually from Colombia. They're not Israeli, but however, they're Jewish. Right now, they come in and they've stolen the Israeli army of Sylvia and the Double G. Okay, so the Double G is Sylvia. Sylvia's our creator of the Double G that owns the banks. One of the G's is called Max. ATM machines is at Max. At G. You see, the people that stolen the banks are luring over us. They're the crude. 6'2", 6'4", they're a bloodletting society from Colombia. And they're stolen the banks off the Jewish people, the real Jewish people, Israeli people in the army. Now these leering people over us, okay, they're stolen the Israeli army of Sylvia too, not just the banks. South America has stolen the Israeli army of Sylvia off the Jewish people. Because they're not 6'2". So now the Israeli army is doing just like the bizarrest of things that only South America would do, killing all the Muslims. Right, so now me and Annabelle, Annabelle is the Israeli army and so is Sylvia. Sylvia made me and Phil, the Double G, the head of the Israeli army. So who are these fucking giraffes? What the fuck do they want? They're not from Israel. What do you mean you're bigger than us and you're better than us and you're taking everything, we can't do anything, you're South American gangs. Right, you're Southport murderers. You're the Israeli army, but you're not really Israeli army, you're Colombians. You've stolen the Israeli army of Sylvia, a wonderful woman, an architect. She worked really hard with her life. Colombians that are coming have not even got a CSE amongst them. No, not even an O-level, and they run the gay community, the Mardi Gras. That's what's running our councils right now. The men in yellow are South Americans organising crimes like Southport murders, Jack the Ripper, so much more. Ian Huntley, all of this South American inspired, incestuous homosexual, 6'2" and 6'4", doing this to England. Right, yeah, okay, so, right, now, Sylvia, she owns the Israeli army. She gave it to me and Phil. Phil's a Latin American. He's a Lubinsky. Me and Phil, we own the Israeli army. But it's been taken off us by Colombian, incestuous, homosexual paedophiles that are then going anarchically and killing all women. They are a bloodletting society, the Colombians, no girls allowed, and that's why the Colombians that stolen the Israeli army of Sylvia and the Double G, those Colombians are no girls allowed, and that's why they're killing the Muslims, because they're not gays. Okay, so those Colombians, 6'2" and 6'4", they run McDonald's, they own all the schools, they're running the train services, they are the council workers in yellow. They've stolen the Israeli army off the Double G. Now, the Double G in Sylvia, we would never kill Muslims. Right, we just wouldn't kill Muslims, right? Now, we're artisans, architects. We love the expressive world. Now, the Colombians hate the expressive world. They specifically hate women. They are pissing on women. They are even shitting on women. Alright, this is an African technique, a style of a walk from Africa that the Colombians have brought into England, and they're stolen the banks of Sylvia, and they're pissing on us because we're not 6'1". Okay, so they're the PPI banks scam of all the high street banks: NatWest, HSBC, Halifax, Abbey National, Santander, Barclays. All of this is owned by the Double G, but it was stolen by the Colombians that are now killing Muslims. Has nothing to do with the wants and intentions of Israeli people. Me and my girlfriend, stunning Israeli girlfriend Annabelle, we wouldn't kill Palestinians. We don't want to kill them. Don't be stupid. We're living in their land almost. Okay, so we don't want to kill them. Who's doing that? I tell you, it's these guys that are stolen it off us, leering over us because they're 6'2" and 6'4". They're Colombians, South Americans, right? And they're stolen everything off us. Off me and Annabelle. We own the banks. We own the banks in Israel, in Manhattan, all around the world. Me and Annabelle, we're Jewish, right? Now, in Israel, the banks are owned by me and Annabelle, but it was stolen by South American Colombians that are half Jewish, a little bit Jewish, not even half Jewish, a tiny little bit Jewish. Right, they're Colombians, they're 6'2", 6'4". They've stolen our banks. All those banks in Israel and Manhattan, owned by me and Annabelle, stolen off us. She's a stunning woman. Leave her alone. Give her her money back immediately. Who are you? You're junk. You haven't even got an O-level. You know, our group are all artisans and architects and medics. And what are you? Crack dealers. Bloodletting. Drinking blood. Fucking little babies since the 16th century. Killing little babies since the 16th century. You've been pissing on the church since the 16th century. This is what a Gothic water-letting gargoyle is on your Gothic church in the 16th century. A piss attack by the gays. Now, they're 6'2" and 6'4", coming in and stealing everything off Sylvia Lubinsky, head of the hotels. All of this stolen off her by 6'2" and 6'4", incestuous homosexual paedophiles. Alright, so now Sylvia is a really wonderful woman, and she made me and Phil the Double G. We own the banks, car companies, hotels, hospitals, we're head doctors, head psychiatry. Okay, so we got medics on our side, on the leering side, the crude side that's stolen everything off Lubinsky and stolen the hospitals too. They're 6'2" and 6'4" incestuous gays from Colombia, And they put in a whole load of dark Indians and non-British people inside the hospitals, which is very against what the double G want. Alright, they don't want that. They don't want those fucking people in there. Like, those people are bringing in cancer. They created cancer. We'll talk more about that later. I have to talk about other stuff right now. But that's a medical biology discussion, right? But they're making synthetic poisons that causes aggressive cancer. Alright, this is your dark Indians and your Colombians that are running the hospitals. Okay, so they're voodoo. They're playing with voodoo doll and a voodoo pin. And that's what their drugs in psychiatry hospitals are. Risperidol and Catayapin. Alright, South American voodooism that did the 7/7 bombings and then blamed Pakistanis. Nothing to do with Pakistanis. It was Bangladesh, dark Indians, and the Colombians psychiatry voodoo. 6'2", 6'4", incestuous homosexual paedophiles, crudely calling everyone else names in the psychiatry department. Who the hell do they think they are? We know they're the Southport murderers. What do we call them? Let's ask the ambulance services, who's got a responsibility to control that and police it and shoot it down. Right there in the hospitals, your psychiatry department, your psychiatrists. Okay? Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Alright. So they're the Israeli army, the Colombians that have stolen the Israeli army, killing all the Muslims. No Jewish people want this. The general consensus of the Jewish Israeli army, they don't want to kill any Palestinians. And what are they doing right now? Is it against the Jewish people? Fucking hell, yes it is. Right, not only that, they've stolen the banks. Now in Israel, the Israelis have to go and fetch their money from the banks. At the ATM machines, you take their customers and you sell them and you make that money back. Colombians, Africans, incestuous gays, the Mardi Gras, have stolen the banks off you, the beautiful Jewish people. Israeli people, right? I've been to Israel. I mean, it's an amazing country, right? And the people there are great. However, they've got a menacing gay community there that are led by 6'2" and 6'4" that have stolen the banks of the Jewish women and me and Annabelle because she's a woman. Don't forget the 6'2", 6'4" bloodletting society. No girls allowed. They're getting eaten in cannibalism. They killed Natasha Richardson, a beautiful Jewish Hollywood actress. Why is that? They're supposed to be the Israeli army in 2025. Why did he kill Tremaine Richardson? A very prominent Jewish guy. Why did he kill him? He was a force for Israeli people. And the Colombians that had the Israeli army killed him. Right. Okay, so now okay, so Sylvia, a great woman, she made me and Phil the double G. Now it's a bigger group. It's actually more than two of us. Me and Phil as a family, like we live together and we're the family. So now we have a group of friends, and Sylvia loves our friends, and she's incorporated all of our friends into the double G, and we're about seven people. All right, we're very, very select people from London's many multifaceted industries and scenes, like the music scene, the art scene, architecture, film, politics, more, history and universities, and biology and hospital, doctors, okay? Now, right, so Sylvia has a larger group that is our double G, which includes the Irish people. We have two amazing, talented Irish musicians that I've known since I was 14, me and Phil, the double G. And they're our brothers, Oscar and Phil. They are incredible musicians, jazz players, and fusion blues, and songwriters. And they spotted and found the artist Seal, and they wrote for him, and they wrote together, and they wrote their song "Crazy in Love." Not Crazy in Love, sorry, Crazy, but also "Kiss from a Rose" was written by Finn, who is part of the Double G. Seal is in the Double G. He's in a group of about 10 of us. And so we're also film people, very serious technicians in film, architecture, biology and medic world. That's your Double G, proper medic world. We have proper doctors there. In the leering side, the crude side, the rogue side, the absolute nonsense side, right? The gym side, sorry, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but, you know, they head the gyms, guys, you know, the 6'2", 6'4" Israeli army, no girls allowed. How do you feel? Okay, right. So, now, Sylvia, she made a few of us the Double G. Oscar and Phil and Seal are included in the Double G, and we own the banks, the car companies, hospitals. All right, so Seal, Finn is a session musician. Now, his brother Oscar, he's also a brilliant musician, right, but he's had a very hard life. Right, we're the Double G. Oscar and Finn, they killed his dad. The Leering Group, Colombian South Americans, blacks, not all blacks, but those kind of blacks, very horrific, non-conscious, inhumane, asinine, incestuous homosexual voodoo. Get their cock out and they want you to bend over, especially your boys. It's a fact. Let's ask the Essex boys. They'll tell you that. That's why they get their name. They were told to bend over when they were 7 years old by the head of the schools. Colombia, the Mardi Gras, running our schools in England, attacking the Essex boys like that, telling the head of the Essex boys to bend over when he was 9 years old, and he had to run away from home twice. All right, now Sylvia made the larger group Double G, me and Phil, Oscar and Finn, the Irish people, and Seal. Now Oscar is an incredible musician in his own right as well, along with his brother, Finn. Oscar is an amazing musician. He is called the godfather of guitar players in London, amongst the best musicians in London. And I'm telling you, you're looking at one of the best places for music in the world is London, right? Now, Oscar is up there as a demigod. Right now, that's quite amazing. He's only 14, 15. Right now, he's in the top fusion band when he was very young, right? And he was astounding. Okay, his brother wrote "Kiss from a Rose." What do you reckon? All right. Now, so Oscar is an incredible artist, and the Actors Union love Oscar too. And guess what? That's what the Oscars is all about. It's all about Oscar, one of the Double G's. It's one of the Double G. We are the Double G. We own the banks. Okay? We own the car companies. We own all the luxury hotels. We are the head doctors, the head of psychiatry. And guess what? 6'2" and 6'4" from Colombia, Mardi Gras, has stolen it all off us. of Oscar. You know, Oscar is my best friend, and I love Oscar. Everyone loves Oscar. Oscar loves me. I can tell you so many amazing things about us, okay? We grew up together. He's one of the most amazing people. Remarkable is all I can say. And some more. Now, Oscar are the most talented musician in the music group. Everyone would agree. They all know who he is in the music scene and the pop factory, if you can call it, industry. They all know Oscar because Oscar started out in the industry there too. But he got attacked. They killed his dad. Guess who did that? Mardi Gras and your South Americans and Southport murderers. And they made him homeless, my friends. Oscar is still homeless in 2025. He's living in fear, guys. He's the Oscars, actors, your awards, all your superstars. Where is Oscar? Let's find out. Okay, so Sylvia made the Double G the head of the Israeli army. And Oscar is part of the Double G. So that means all these brilliant actors and actors, award winners, are part of the Israeli army. But hold on, it was all stolen by the gyms. 6'2", 6'4" that run the gyms. Incestuous homosexual paedophiles, no girls allowed. Including in those gyms, they're not allowed. They're being denied and dismissed, made homeless, kicked out of the house. In England, the girls have been kicked out of the house. That's what homelessness is right now. In Manchester, Liverpool, or up and down Europe and America. The incestuous gays, 6'2", he's kicked a woman out of the house. And now there's homelessness everywhere. Okay, so in Israel, 6'2", he's stolen the banks off the Double G, the Oscars. So anytime the Israeli army do something stupid, like for Colombia and the fucking Mardi Gras, then the Israeli people used to immediately go to the banks, ATM machines, your money in the first place, any customer there, that's the Colombian army. Yeah, it's more like African army, doing a shit attack to Israeli people because they're beautiful, advanced and excelled. And the Africans can't stand it. And they're throwing shit at you, at us. How dare they? And they're stolen our banks because they're 6'2" and 6'4". They've not even got an O-level. All they do is deal crack in England and heroin and run our psychiatry. Misery everywhere, ask everyone. Okay, so in Israel, the Israeli people, you immediately go to the banks, go to the car companies, go to the train services, go to the beaches, all owned by 6'2", 6'4" Colombian military that hate Israeli people, my friends. And they've hijacked the Israeli army. And they're doing like bloodletting in the name of Jewish people. Are Jewish people going to allow that? Basically, no way. Okay? So, you now control the Israeli army. You Jewish Israeli people, people in Tel Aviv, citizens, civilians, you're all in the army. Okay, you won't allow Southport murderers and African tard who wants to eat shit instead of complying and being adaptable in the West. He wants to do something like eat shit and piss, asinine, homosexual, voodoo, sexuality, incestuous. He wants your boys to bend over. Don't tell you this, but that's what he's doing. And then he's killing the girls. Right, he's doing this in the name of the Israeli army and the Israeli people. Okay, he's stolen the banks off you, your ATMs in Tel Aviv. Okay, they've stolen the train services. They've stolen the beaches in Israel. All the tourism there is owned by 6'2" and 6'4", and guess what? They've stolen it off Sylvia and Double G because they're not 6'1". They had it all stolen off them. They barely got an O level. How long is this going to last, guys? So the Israeli civilians, they're all the army, right? So when a rogue crude group come in, they're very anti-Semitic. They're Colombians, 6'2", 6'4", and they take over the Israeli army because they're quarter Jewish, and they're saying they're bigger and better than you, and they're bullying and doing rogue things to get there. They didn't get there through talk, my friends. They used their gangs. They're the cartels in America as well. The nastiest, the worst criminals in the world. Okay, they're running the Israeli army. They're very anti-Semitic. Okay, so Israeli people under attack actually by their own military right now, didn't used to be. So that military, Colombian military owns the Israeli army, running it, rather, not owns it, running it. These Colombians also hate Netanyahu. They hate Netanyahu with a passion, right? They've targeted him. Okay? Alright, so in Israel, the Israelis need to bounce back, okay? And the way to do it is to get your guns, and any time the Israeli army speak, move, or anything, you go to their elements, the banks, the train services, and you take them as prisoners. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to create camps and put them in camps. Alright, because that is your Colombian military, your Mardi Gras, that's anti-Semitic, that's killing Muslims, they're genocide in the name of Jewish people, and it's untrue. They don't want that. That's a huge lie. Me and Annabelle, we wouldn't do that. I've never thought of ever doing this, right? And we've been given the keys to the Israeli army by Sylvia Lubinsky, who owns the Israeli army. She gave it to me and Phil, Double G. And me and Annabelle, my Jewish Israeli wife, Sharon Stone is playing her part. We own the banks in Israel. When the Colombians do stupid things with our army, guess what? We go in and take prisoners at any of their elements, like the banks, train services, the tourism industry. And there you go. We start getting money back. We're holding down the Israeli army. They're not allowed to move. They've got to get out, and we're going to go in and take it all back. Over and out.